Welcome to Smiley's Epic Quest. Today, me and my co-host Lee are joined by two special guests from a different podcast, another Malazan podcast. You might have heard of D&J's Epic Quest. So we are doing a wrap-up of Gardens of the Moon and an intro to Deadhouse Gates kind of an episode today. So, hi Derek, hi Justin. How are you guys?
Hello, I'm Justin. I'm doing well.
I'm Derek.
And
Doing well also.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
it's our first guest appearance, so we're usually on your end. So
Yeah.
forgive the awkwardness.
No worries at all.
So, how are you, Lee?
I'm good, slightly buzzed, doing great.
Yeah.
This is,
How many drinks have you had?
one beer and one cocktail, and I'm on the second beer right now. So I'm regretting a lot of things, but I'm good.
Oh
I'm
my
good.
God.
I'm very good.
It's too early for regrets. Well,
That is true.
stateside it's maybe too early for regret. I guess I don't know about Greece.
No regret.
No. Right. So, how are you guys finding Deadhouse Gates?
Alluring. I feel like at this point in the time, it's shit. What are those things called? A siren. A siren on the seas. I just keep being called to read more. Read
Yeah.
more. Come, read more. Yeah, and I have to exhibit some self-control
Mhm.
to not read more.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of discipline, isn't it, to not read further when you already finished and you're waiting for the recording. That I have trouble with that too.
Yeah,
I've gotten kind of used to it just because it's kind of our thing now, right?
Okay.
So we read a chapter and then maybe we got to wait a few days until we record, but usually within a day or two of recording, both of us have at least either started the next chapter or maybe even finished reading it, and and then we got to put the time into typing up our summaries and getting that all together and then working out what's going to work to record next for us both.
Okay.
I think that the fact that we summarize these chapters or the sections in this chapters, and I think that's enough to get me by, because I usually find more things that I didn't catch on even the first or second reread of that chapter.
Yeah.
But we've gotten to this point where, and I think it was because I moved, we got to this point where prior to me moving, we were recording, and then within that week's time, editing and uploading to our platforms, and then rereading the chapter. And I got to this point where it was almost a little bit too much. So I kind of thank the move, because now we're actually 2 episodes ahead of where we are at, which then allows me to actually edit without any type of pressure to get it up there within a week.
Yeah. And also, if you miss a week of recording or something, you have some backup, isn't it? You don't have to take a break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We ended up taking a break because we didn't have backups, and now we are overflowing. I might have to release 2 episodes this week just so that it gets out there.
Oh no.
Lee, please feel free to jump in anytime,
Yeah,
because
No worries.
So do you guys want to tell us about your podcast and how do you guys have you guys started calling yourself podcasters yet?
I guess
That's
I
a
don't know
great
if we
question.
really have we?
No, we haven't. I mean, I tell people, like my coworkers and family members that I think would care that we have a podcast, but I guess I've never really given myself a title podcaster. Like, that's weird. Maybe we need to start implementing it.
Yeah, it does seem kind of weird. Yeah, I think we still both find a lot of joy in it, and it's a lot of fun to do.
I like to call myself, ironically, that I'm a podcaster now, and I just find it very funny to say that. You, Lee, have you ever called yourself a podcaster yet?
I have not, no, and I'm not sure if I ever will. At least not for the foreseeable future.
Maybe I think I'll start calling you my co-host.
I think you have.
podcaster.
I think you have called me podcaster. Yeah.
I must have.
I'm mostly the co-host, not the podcaster. That's my title of choice.
Right.
Mora, I thought you were the.
Sorry?
Oh, I thought you were the co-host.
Me?
Technically, we're both co-hosts.
I don't know. Lee just likes to say that he likes to take a backseat. He just shows up and talks. That's his.
Yep.
His thing. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are without a host then, huh?
Evidently.
Do you want to host us, Justin? You're welcome.
Sure. I'll be the barkeep in Smiley's here, and put on my sexy little waitress outfit, and we'll go that way.
Oh my God! Look, you imagine the views that are going to come in.
I'm pretty sure there would be negative views. You would have negative views. No,
Like,
not just bad.
I don't know when exactly this shows up in the book, but the name Smiley's has it come up yet?
No.
Yeah, so it's not come up yet, isn't it?
No, not yet.
Do you guys have some background about what? Okay, yeah, you wouldn't have got any background. No, no worries,
No,
no worries.
not
That's
yet,
okay.
not yet. No.
Smiley's come. I'm
They'll learn in time.
happy to read. Yeah.
So, Lee, have you?
Sorry, Derek.
I was just asking Lee if he's finished the series also,
Yes,
or are you maybe partway through?
I'm on the second reread right now, along with Mark. We're doing a read
Okay.
along on the sub. So with that, I've read most books. I've not read the novellas yet, which Mora has, but I've read most books in the series. The ongoing
Cool.
series I'm currently reading is Wheel of Time, which I think Mora's told you about. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you're on the third one, the Dragon Reborn.
Yep.
Ah,
And
okay.
Ah, all right. Okay, we're live too.
Uh-oh.
Excellent. So, okay, I guess I'm gonna get thrown under the bus. It's interesting. It's you can see why people tell you to read The Wheel of Time before Malazan or something. It's not bad. It's different. It shows the book is considerably older than I am, and it shows in many ways. So I'll get used to it, I guess. It's something to get used to. There's more to talk about later, but this is not the time. So
all right, fair enough. Fair
Oh,
enough.
I'm sure it'll get brought up again. Certainly, I'm sure. But now it's not.
no, but we might as well, because you guys are huge fans, are you?
So
Wheel
I've
of
heard.
Time?
Yeah, it was both of us. Like the first big fantasy series we ever read, and we finished at different times, but that was kind of the big one for us both. But I guess it's interesting. I mean, because it's it was an American author, and I guess I've never even considered what somebody in another country might think of it. So it'd be interesting to talk about maybe at some point.
You guys have not read like King Killer and all those? No. I think we discussed this. Yeah, we did discuss this.
I started reading it, and I just couldn't.
Okay, just tell me who runs the Twitter account? Is it Derek or you?
The Twitter account.
Derek runs the Twitter.
Twitter,
Yeah, I mean,
right. So because I never know, like I DM Justin and I talk to you on Twitter. So sometimes I wonder if it's the same person. So yeah, like now I know. Now I know for sure.
Yeah,
It was.
it's me.
It was totally me this whole time on both platforms.
It's you. It's you right now, even there. With Derek's login.
Did you start to think that I was like multi-personality or
No,
what?
like sometimes the official account is like run by two people. So you never know, isn't it? Because you don't interact much on Twitter with your ID, the
N-
art
n-
one.
No, I do this thing where like I have so many damn like artistic envisions, and I get to this part where I'm like, I don't know what to do next, so I just start something else. So like nothing ever really gets finished. And with the move, I don't think I've done anything since the beginning of August because I can't find one of my cables for my computer or for my monitor at the moment. So I have to siphon one from work.
Okay. So how did you like Gardens?
I think it's our favorite book so far.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a high bar to pass. All right.
Thanks. That's stealing my line, Justin.
Sorry.
Oh.
Great minds.
You know what,
there.
Derek? You just say the line. I can just edit out what Justin just said.
No.
I'm just gonna keep saying it then.
Well, I think it was Justin asked me when we read the first chapter what I thought of it, and I told him it was the best chapter we've read in this whole book.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No, but then there are quite a lot of criticisms for Gardens. Most people bounce off of Gardens. And did you guys read like the introduction by Erickson? I think it was in the 10th anniversary edition of his book. It has
I don't
no.
think that was in our book.
Okay, there's a very lovely intro where he just says, I'm going to drop you into the story, and either you catch up or you're toast. So
Oh,
I'm not going to handhold you and all that. It's a nice intro. I think you guys should just read it for the fun of it.
yeah, I'll have to take a look for it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, if you'd read it, you would remember because it's it's quite.
It has an excellent quote with it, which goes something like "right balls go for the throat" and stuff like that. So it's very memorable for sure.
Like
Oh,
prison
yeah.
compromise and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's basically Erickson being unapologetic about being the way he writes, and he continues that thread throughout the books, and even now he's very. I write this way because I think it's better, and you can, which is respectable. Mora probably has more experience with that, having talked with a guy, and
No, wait. Are you dissing my buddy Steve?
I'm not at all, not in the slightest. No, I would never. No, it's just he explains the origins of the Malazan world, how the whole thing, the garden started, and basically it's him complaining subtly and not subtly about his publishers, since Gardens was supposed to be a screenplay at first, and no one wanted to pick them up. So like, okay, yeah, you know what, guys, I'm not gonna tone this book down. You can go fuck yourselves. I'm gonna make it even bigger. And then he published Gardens as a publisher for 10 books rather than just a screenplay for a movie. And then he went above and beyond in Deadhouse and so on. And basically, like, if I could do it, so can you. You shouldn't bother to like compromise and settle for less because people tell you that, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. It's empowering, it's interesting, it's funny because of the language he uses, and it shows his philosophy throughout the books. If you haven't found it yet, I should just checking it out because it's very interesting.
I'll have to look into that.
For sure.
That's good to know. I had no idea.
He
idea.
waited almost like 8 years between writing and publishing. He had to move to the UK to find a good publisher. He didn't have an American. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, so that's why the writing quality is also extremely different between Gardens and Deadhouse Gates. So I think you guys know that already.
Yeah.
We saw that right away. I mean, just it was very apparent.
It just felt like way more fleshed out than it did Gardens. You know, I feel like one of my major criticisms from Gardens of the Moon is that there really is an emphasis on what characters look like, so to speak, and like, I guess I'm a visual person, and that's how I understand, you know, what a certain character is. Granted that, you know, that wasn't anything deterring by any means, but it's just nice to have like a mental note, like this person is this, and this. You know, there were some, but I guess I would just like more. But in the very first paragraph of the prologue in Deadhouse Gates, you get this like super, like just visual about this like this flea dude, just this apparition with all of these flies buzzing around, and like as he's walking, the flies are dropping and hitting the ground and then like dispersing. Like I just like fuck. I was just captivated just right there. I just couldn't stop reading.
Yeah, no, but as you go forward, just remember he's not going to give you like proper physical descriptions and a whole thing of eye color, hair color, the way they dress and all that. You're not going to get that. Do you guys have any idea about Upsalar? Like what could be her race? Have you guys had a guess yet?
I guess I haven't even really thought about it. I don't know if you have, Justin, but I don't know. I guess it hasn't really felt like an issue to me, or that I guess need to know.
No, some of us are like that. We don't really visualize, isn't it? Like the characters. I'm happy to just imagine it's just this young girl, Upsalar, going around doing stuff. But like Justin, I think there are plenty of people who want to know the actual details so that you have a better visual. We all read in different ways, isn't it? But I think you'll have a small throwaway line about Upsalar's race. So it does show up in a very tiny line. Yeah. But if you've not looked up fan art at all?
No, I'm trying to avoid spoilers. We did look up fan art for the Denrabi.
Okay.
The 200 meter fucking or 200 foot fucking
centipede water monster
thing.
The sea monster thing.
Yeah. Like I don't know, and like I don't need it to be Robert Jordan descriptive by any means. As far as what they're wearing. All of the different features of their face, but it would just from like an artistic standpoint, even like in the first chapter of Deadhouse Gates, the very first thing we're introduced to is Akarium and Mappo, and I already got an understanding of what Mappo is, and Derek made a very naughty joke about that, but we've got. We've got just a guy who I imagine is just, he's got hair all over, kind of spanning up his arms, canine teeth, etc., and then like sand-colored eyes. So it gave me that much more of a visual as far as that character goes. Whereas like with, for example, Animander Rake, we've got, black skin and white hair, so it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't need to be this over elaborate thing, but just the level that he's doing it in Deadhouse Gates comparatively is I'm digging a little bit more.
Yeah. Ikarium, do you have a hold on Ikarium's looks yet?
We did get a little bit of a description, I thought.
He does
like
have
a black hair,
which is dyed apparently because I think it runs with the sweat and all. Something is dyed in him, either his skin or his hair. I don't remember now.
It was his skin. It was gray, and then in the desert, it was fading away to an olive green.
Yeah.
But I think, from what I understand and what I was deducing from that, is that it was meant to be some type of disguise. So I think he just painted himself gray to avoid being detected in the town of Erliton.
Yeah, everything.
Erliton?
Yeah, say it however you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you, because I'm not going to be able to remember all the pronunciations, and Erickson always has some, his own way of telling things, which is I can't. Yeah.
No, I mean that's fair. I just a lot of these cities are at this point are still our first introduction to the city, so we're not as familiar with them like we would be Pale or Jerujistan or Malaz City, etc. So it was more just kind of a thing like, is that what it was? So yeah.
One thing maybe you can clear up,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you felt this way, Justin, but so is 7 cities the name of the continent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or are there 7 cities
That
also?
too.
Okay,
There's
so it's both.
Yeah.
I thought Lee would have a more descriptive answer because no, I
There's
did.
7 holy cities
Yeah.
after which the continent is named.
I
Gotcha.
guess I did get a little bit of that in the second chapter, but I still wasn't sure if that was the name of the continent.
It is
or
the
not.
continent, and Erliton is one of the holy cities.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was cool being able to piece together the maps from Gardens of the Moon, and just even within the first chapter, you kind of get a sense of the direction and to which they traveled. So it was really kind of cool to be able to piece together the map in Gardens of the Moon is actually northeastern of the 7 cities. And what did we look up, Derek? It was like 3,000 leagues, and that would have been from like the North Pole to like 80% to the South Pole is how
Something like
long
that,
they've been
yeah.
Oh,
traveling.
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool, and it makes sense because, from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the events of the first chapter in Deadhouse Gates are roughly about a year after the end of Gardens of the Moon. So essentially, they've been traveling this whole time, and that allotting that time that we don't need to read about. We don't need to read about everything that they traveled to on their way to their current destination. Oh, Lee's doing the I want to see more.
So it's that exact complaint is what I had about Eye of the World. Like, I've been bored. I'm sorry, I did, but I understand why it's there. It's just I couldn't help myself. I had to get that out of the way. So please carry on.
No, you're not wrong, but a tidbit that maybe may help clarify that a little bit is, and whether you're aware or not, back in the day, because of Tolkien.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of, yeah.
So it makes it a little more forgivable. Are you wrong? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I'll get used to it. It's something to get used to.
Yeah.
With that out of the way, please carry on.
No, I was just looking up at the summary which I did like months ago about chapter 1 of Deadhouse Gates, about the route to Itkokan, isn't it? So they're going all the way from Ototaral Sea towards Earlyton, and then I think they see some Imperial messengers at Early, and so they go to a small fishing village, isn't it? So
Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's a nice journey to follow. What did you think of Kalam? His plans?
Oh, to kill Oseen. I
It's
feel
kind of
like
where I thought things were going to go in the first book. So I guess I'm glad we're seeing that happen, but I felt like that was going to happen sooner. But I know you and I talked about that, Justin, that if it went that direction, then Gardens of the Moon probably would have been a much larger book than it already was.
Right. But I also think that it's just very, very early setup. I don't think that Lucine is going to go down for a long time as far as books go. That's my prediction.
It's a nice prediction.
I was right about Riga, so as much as I doubted myself. Yeah. So I think that it's just the very beginning of the plan, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of roadblocks, so to speak, in that coming to fruition.
No, because I was very impressed when I read that chapter 1. I was like, oh my god, this is the Empress, and that's so audacious of Kalam to just decide, he's just going to go and kill the Empress, and I was very happy with that. But yeah, it's a nice setup, for the rest
Yeah, it's a pretty big and bold plan.
So
it's a good book for a chapter 1, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, the last 8 books are them just all living peacefully on some island,
Yeah.
enjoying beers
And
and
cocktails at Smiley's.
taverns.
What could be
Yeah,
better?
I know. That's why they say the rest 8 books just, they just suck because they're just people sitting and drinking, doing nothing.
There is a surprising amount of people sitting and drinking. That is true. A lot of tavern and bar scenes and stuff like that.
Maybe that'll be the new Alcohol Anonymous
Yeah.
series to read.
You actually have no idea how right you are in some regards.
Great. Maybe I'll have to join the characters in their drunken stupor.
Oh, there are quite a few drunkards, fun drunks.
Maybe.
Oh, you don't. Did Lee just groan now?
No, that wasn't me.
That was Derek.
Oh, why? You don't like to read drunk people, is it?
I don't know. I guess I haven't really. What are you making faces, Justin?
I don't know where you're going with this. Is this are you triggered or something? Like, did you have some like traumatic thing happen to you? And not that we should be laughing if that's legit.
No, that's why. Yeah,
No, I just apparently I have a beer and then I tag the wrong people on Twitter, Justin.
That's right. I forgot about that. I wouldn't have known because I wasn't tagged.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God! Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
That one hit a little close to home.
Oh, Lee, just no.
I've seen the tweet. No worries, I've seen the tweet.
You saw, right? Okay. That is hilarious because I just saw this random guy's Twitter and I was thinking, okay, so maybe you guys have a new account now. That is funny. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about gardens, or if you have anything to clear up
we've
there?
got lots of stuff for you.
Thank you. Okay, go on.
I can't remember specifically when this happened, but do you remember in Gardens of the Moon when Krupp observed some women dunking cats?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Any theories as to like where that stems from, or I just thought it would be a humorous thing to talk about. I don't know if it's a symbolism for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, dunking of cats.
No, as far as I know, it's just some silly thing that just shows up there.
So it's just a random thought, like, hey, there's just gonna be these people just dunking cats.
Yeah, I really don't know.
I mean, it doesn't get any darker than that. They weren't like drowning the cats, were they?
Yeah,
Just give them a quick wash.
No, but those are not real cats, isn't it? It's just a dream. So I have no idea how to interpret that scene. I really don't know. I think it was just some random thing. But do you remember the other guys he meets inside this inn? Like his essences or something. He calls them his virtues or his essence or something.
Yeah.
Did you guys like that? Did you guys like that dream scene?
I did, and it's funny that you're bringing that up because that is actually in a... Do you have access to this sheet? Did we share this with you accidentally?
No.
Okay, because I was just gonna ask.
There is a chat box here. You're just okay. You're checking me, right? Yeah, go on.
Speaking of that particular dream, I feel like in Krupp's first dream, he's kind of walking along. He sees the cats getting dunked, and then he sees this like ominous thing hanging from a tree, and then he goes up into this inn where I thought they were beggars. They were like 4 beggars, and I feel like from what I gathered from that is each of them were kind of an extension of himself, so to speak. But I guess I'm having a hard time. Like, how does that have any relevance to the story? Is that just a character play, or is that just et cetera, et cetera? Is that just Krupp being, multi-personality?
That's sort of how. Do you have an answer, Lee?
I have a parallel. It's just like
from Wheel of Time. Do you have a parallel from Wheel of Time?
Yeah. Oh. A lot of early Wheel of Time is Rand and the boys dreaming. A lot of it, like a lot. All the exposition happens in dreams. So as you saw from later in Gardens with Raised, a big part of Krupp's power comes from the fact that he dreams, and his dreams are interactive. So in a sense, it's like, on the one hand, it's there to showcase, Krupp can dream, and he remembers what he sees in his dream, and he's active in the dream. On the other hand, it's like, who the fuck knows what he sees? He sees a whole bunch of stuff. It's like, it could be important. It might not be. I'm not even sure exactly what that scene meant, because I'm not sure if Krull actually visited him in that dream or not.
The first dream, there is no Krull.
I don't actually remember at all. I just remember that, I remember the last scene with the beggars, so like, he goes, I'm currently sleeping in my bed right now, in my blanket and stuff, and you guys are here, so let's talk. That's all I remember from it. I don't remember the dunking cats bit. So on the one hand, I think it's just Krupp can do this because. On the other hand, there might be some deeper meaning, as to remember, because I've not read Gardens in a while. So
There's one bit in it which has a deeper meaning. The body which is hanging outside. Do you guys remember what he calls that one?
I don't remember.
He,
I don't
he
either.
calls it humility.
Right,
So
right,
it's
yes.
like sort of he's had to sacrifice his humility to.
I think, if I recall correctly, Krupp's dramatic persona entry is called A Man of False Modesty.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So humility is the
So,
first
yeah,
thing he
there's
is
that.
sacrificed. So it's just some fun bit. I don't think. I think he was just having fun, Erickson, while writing Krupp. So I don't think there is any deeper meaning with those essences and all that.
Okay. So it's merely just to try to get Krupp a deeper image and maybe closer, like a relatability very early on to readers.
Probably. And Krupp is. Do you guys know about the whole of Malazan was gamed through D&D? Are you guys aware of that?
No.
I've heard bits and
No.
pieces about it. I thought it was like I thought they like went out and like LARPed it. Is that also true?
That would have been cooler, but not that I know of, no.
No, you guys play?
That would have been very cool, though.
No, you're not
No.
D&D guys? Okay.
No.
Okay, so
I
Lee
have a
will-
little bit, not in quite a while though.
Okay, then Lee, please explain what went
So
on.
basically, they started off with D&D, which is a bit on the harder side. Like, think, I don't know. Goddamn, I don't actually know of any. I guess Wheel of Time is pretty hard, the magic system. There's like a lot of established rules. Stuff happens because the game rules say so. And they didn't really like. They played a few campaigns there. They didn't really like it, so they moved to GURPS, which is the generic universal role-playing system, which is traditionally a lot more loose and open when it comes to rules. And essentially, their playing style evolved into them having one-on-one sessions. So one would be the game master who runs the game, non-player characters, the whatnot, and the other guy, who they would often change, would play their own characters that they created. And a lot of those characters, one of them being Steven's character from their first few games in D&D, was Anamander Rake. You may have noticed. He likes him particularly. And you would think, okay, this is made like 5, 6 no, like half the characters, half the cast important in the books were gamed, and it's ridiculous to think about that they've gamed this much. A lot of the world was created during the role-playing games. It also shows that they have basically split the world into 2, so each guy would get like 2 or 3 continents to develop for their own books. I'm not gonna say which is which because of spoilers.
It's hardly.
Well,
Yeah, right.
have
At least
visited one
now
of
you know Denebakis and Seven Cities is Erickson's continents.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like an actual agreement, like a formal agreement. They said, okay, we're gonna do this, but that's how it feels like. And a lot of the magic system was developed during their gaming days. A lot of the characters were developed during their gaming days. The locations. Now, if you actually look at how they gamed, how the playing worked, it was a lot more goofy, a lot more loose than what it is in Book of the Fallen. So I will tell you from here that the pre-established world and history that you see, especially in the Book of the Fallen, is definitely altered and more dark, shall we say, than what they actually played, for better or for worse. Which is obviously
feel like it would
deliberate to make a better story. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I feel like it would be hard to play a game that is as dark and grim as,
That is
you
true.
know, especially just the beginning of, you know, just from the prologue alone of Deadhouse.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't last them personally, so I wouldn't know. But that's basically how the origins of the Malazan world went. Is the basic.
No, I saw in some interview that they both sat down and when they decided that they're going to start writing their novels, and they came up with 2 separate lists of what each one wants to cover. And then they found that there was hardly any overlap between Erickson and Esselmont, and so they had the list split, So these are the things that I'm going to cover. So Erickson started doing the Book of the Fallen, and Esselmont went to the Malazan Empire books. So that's how they split it. They're very close friends, from, I don't know, like you guys, decades and decades of friendship.
Well, maybe we'll have to write a book, Derek.
But you have to game for another 20 years now.
I drink to that.
It wouldn't be a very interesting book. Probably
Oh,
walks
yeah.
down to sea, falls in, dies.
I don't know, man. What's like some of the stuff you draw? Like we could come up with some pretty cool shit. I think. Like
I mean, maybe. I'm not very what's the word? Articulate with my words.
I think I kind of am sometimes.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I could give you an image. It's probably gonna have lots of penises and vaginas and boobs in it, and you could definitely make a story out of it. So
You draw most horror stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I like biomechanical design, very similar to Alien. Yeah, I just like fucked up shit. I don't know why. It just draws me in. I just get
Anything
lost.
in Deadhouse Gate stood out to you that you want to draw?
Oh, the flea dude.
Yeah.
You want to draw,
Uh,
yeah.
oh, the priesthood. I also kind of want to draw Heberic a little bit.
Heberic, yeah, yeah.
I saw scenes, especially in chapter 1, with the Aptorian beast thing.
Oh,
The guy
you
that
guys
was like,
met the Aptorian already.
Yeah,
Nice.
Mappa looks at it from afar and says, "It looks like my uncle's."
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
you see more of Aptorian later, so maybe just wait for that before you start drawing Aptorian because you get a much closer description of
yeah.
that demon.
There's a lot of things that, like, even throughout Gardens of the Moon, I could just visually see inside my mind, but the hard part about art is translating what you see into something that actually looks decent. Like I did draw, or I sketched rather. Let's just be real. I did sketch the massacre at Ikito Khan, and then Ikko Khan. Thank you. And then I did sketch the hairlock more or less being transformed into an asshole puppet.
You did do that with all the intestines falling out and all that. I hope you did that. Okay.
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know why. I just like that, whenever intestines fall out, I just find it, it just adds to the scene.
right. Yeah.
Right. Right. You met the divers, have you? Relandras, the six wolf divers.
Yes.
Have you been saying divers or?
I guess I've been reading it as divers.
Oh, you're okay. You're giving respect to
know.
the apostrophe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. No, I don't know. I just said divers. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know either.
I'm sure.
Maybe think of like a belly flop.
What?
A belly flop,
Belly
like
flop.
jumping off a
Of
diving board into a pool.
Right. So they just named it like that. Soul taken is something which shapeshifts to a single beast, and a diverse or diverse shape shifts into multiple beasts.
I think diverse is supposed to be pun on diverse.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things. That's the origin. I don't know what soul taken means. Just in like real
Soul, a single.
I mean,
soul,
I know, but-
solitary. Yeah.
Really? Oh, I guess there's still single soul.
You
I
know,
guess.
I've never put that together.
God, it's so easy. Why didn't I put that together?
Wow.
Fuck.
We both just had a big revelation.
I think all three of you had it.
I just thought it was like, your soul, right? Like they're taking another creature's soul
You would think so, right?
instead, but it just means singular. Fuck.
Oh, we just had our minds blown.
No, my biggest doubt when I read Rake shapeshifting was, how the hell is he dressed up already? He just shapeshifted back from a dragon. Where did his clothes come from? But that's just part of their magic. They just incorporate clothes for some reason. But
Or he was naked. He doesn't say.
maybe, yeah. I think that's a much more pleasant to imagine, isn't it?
What better than to, destroy this fucking Lord of Demons, and then after you're done shapeshifting, you're just, freeballing, right? You got blood everywhere, scars scratching, and you're just like, huh, that was a good job.
Double done.
Yeah, and he carries a two-handed sword, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh God.
Mora, where are you going with
It has a name.
this? Is Dick?
No. That was the
Dick Bird.
innuendo. The joke was his actual sword. Right. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Do you need a minute?
I don't know. Who needs a minute? I don't need a minute.
I'm good. Right.
So that is Rick.
Off the rails.
And
Rank and
Yeah.
two-handed sword. Yeah.
This is what we do.
so that was Soul Taken and Divas. Did you guys? Relandras is a pack of wolves, isn't it? When you meet him now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
does he shapeshifts, isn't it, to human?
Not
does.
in the chapter we read.
But I know what you're talking about, though.
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay. No problem. We'll just move on. We'll just quietly move on. Giving
Justin,
space
you're
to
just in the
Justin.
dark.
Whoa. Oh, right, because you read the fucking second chapter.
Yeah. You slacker.
No problem. It's isn't this a standard thing with the two podcasters reading the same book? Because I've had to wait for Lee to finish Stone Wielder, and now he stopped reading OST to wait for me
I'm
to.
being nice and considerate, and I'm being told off because of it.
What?
Right.
I did not. Okay.
No, I've read these books before. I've read the novels before, so I need to wait for more to finish before I can talk about them.
No, but then he made me wait almost a month because he was too caught up with Wheel of Time.
I'm
No, I'm
sorry.
I'm
I
going to
am
say it.
so sorry. I am very sorry for reading a different series. I'm sorry.
Right. Right. Okay. So we'll. Are you happy with Deadhouse Gate so far? So I think we'll go back to Gardens, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Oh,
me
you
whip
have some
out.
doubts. Sorry, you were going through your list. I'll just wait. Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
What's your
we'll
next?
go back to the list. Rake Sword got us distracted. It's cool.
That's the
Um,
theme of the whole series. If you haven't noticed,
Rake Sword.
distracting everyone. Yeah.
Oh,
That's how he
okay.
kills his enemies.
Okay.
I
We'll get to that
suddenly
later.
don't want to be here anymore.
Are you uncomfortable talking about swords?
You know,
He's extremely non-violent.
you've
Yeah,
not
as
seen
far
what
as
I've
I've
seen.
seen.
That's why you're talking so far. You know, like there are things about Rick Sword. It's like,
Sorry,
I
I'm
have to
talking
do
about
this with
Dragnipur.
you.
There is nothing wrong in talking about Dragnipur because Okay, yeah, sorry. Please go back to your list. I'm just going to
No,
shut up now.
cool. Just another distraction of Rake Sword. That's all good. So, Hairlock and his connections with, Bridge Burners, Whiskey Jack, Kalam, and Quick Ben, and the deal he made. Like, is there any, and again, please, if there's a spoilage thing, just say, you're tough luck, read and find out. But I guess I don't know if it's just me forgetting, but I feel like that was something that it was just there. It just existed. There wasn't really any type of prior connections there. And with Hairlock being dead, I don't know if that's necessarily anything that I'll get any more elaboration on. And if not, that's totally cool.
Shall I?
I didn't actually hear the question in entirety, so please do.
No problem. See, Hairlock and the Bridge Burners, their deal, I think it happens off screen. So the deal was they save him for some reason. Hairlock is going to give them something in return. And I think you guys have been already told what exactly does Hairlock set out to do once he's in the puppet. What does he spend most of his time trying to do?
He was traveling through Warrens. What was he trying to do?
I don't remember.
He was trying to trace somebody evil and try to find out what is their motivation in, betraying the bridge burners and stuff, wasn't it? No.
I don't remember. That doesn't sound familiar.
Oh,
I remember the Warrens, like he was traveling through Warrens, and ultimately that is how Gear was able to track him down. But I guess what he specifically looked for, I think that may have eluded me.
no. He talks to Tattersail about it. So he tells Tattersail about what exactly his plan is, and he makes her realize which way were the mages facing when the fireballs hit them and killed them. And that's how Tattersail decides to start hating on one guy, and she decides that he's going to be the betrayer. No, am I not making any sense?
Tishran?
Is it all?
I mean, is this the Tashran thing?
Yeah, yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah. So because that's probably the deal, because everyone feels betrayed by Tashran, so they want someone to track him and try to find out more things about him.
Oh, that's right. Because
Okay.
who was Hairlock talking to? Was he talking to Tattersail when he said I don't remember who he was talking to, but he told somebody that he hates Tashran just as much as he did, or she did.
Yeah.
I guess.
They all hate Tashran. That's
No, that I guess I just for whatever reason I don't know if it was just I was newer to the book when all of this kind of took place because I feel like those were definitely things that happened within the the first, second, potentially third chapter, and
no, it's
just
very
kind of
obscure. You really can't. It's not obvious at all.
I didn't realize that those were two connected things.
Yeah.
So,
That's how he wrote Gardens, so that's why people don't like it as much because all these things are happening and you really can't put them together. So that's the way it's written. He makes it a point to show don't tell. So so Tattersail knows they're talking about Tashran and Hairlock knows they're talking about Tashran, but you are not told that the specific subject of this conversation is Tashran. So that's why it's very obscure. So that's fine. It's easy to miss that one.
cool. I appreciate that.
I never liked
Speaking of,
Tishran.
yeah, he's kind of a fucking dick.
I mean,
Speaking
who?
of,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
I said who isn't. Sorry.
Oh, okay, fair. Speaking of Tashran, any thoughts on him just being comatose after his Galean lord is defeated? Like,
His-
is that something?
Oh, the demon.
Yeah,
The
after
demon
Rake
was
is,
just like I don't know what. He was in control of the demon, so once it's dead, it's dead. That's it.
so how is he in a coma then?
So think Warder and Aes Sedai. If a Warder dies, Aes Sedai knows that he died and how he died. It's a bit more intricate
like-
than that, and it doesn't get brought up again, as far as I know. I think it's the only time where like a demon dies and the summoner gets like because of it. But it's a similar
Speaking-
deal. They're bound together by some summoning thing.
See, that's what I thought, but I guess I wanted more some conclusivity to it.
You'll notice that a lot of things that get brought up in Gardens don't get brought up again, at least not as obvious, because of the 10-year gap, as I've mentioned, in writing the book. I don't remember if it's brought up again, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Do you remember, Mora?
Can we?
The demon lord you're talking about.
I think he's talking about the comatose.
Yeah, the comatose thing. The
After
demon dies and suddenly you go comatose.
Who is comatose exactly? I'm sorry.
Tyshawn. When Gallian dies from Rake, I think.
Tyshawn goes into a coma.
He
Yeah.
screams and then like falls in a coma, I think.
because Dujek and Whiskey Jack are talking on the
On
bone
their
phone.
bone phone.
Oh, the
yeah,
bone
yeah.
phone.
Bone phone, which is also something that doesn't appear again, from what I understand. Which, damn it, it needs
The
to.
biggest loss in the whole series.
My biggest heartbreak was finding out that bone phone was not made out of Dujek's missing arm, because I
Oh.
was so sure. I so wanted that to happen. It was his. The arm he lost was made into a bone phone. It's not that. I'm so sorry.
Man, that
I
would have
was
been
really
fucked up and dark.
That would have been fucking cool. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it's no longer part of you, but now it's an extension of
I mean,
you.
at least you get a use out of it, isn't
yeah.
it? Just randomly dumping it somewhere.
The Malazans are nothing if not practical.
Do you think he uses it to look at his OnlyFans account?
Oh, Justin.
Yeah.
The iBone phone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's looking at Dicknapper pictures.
Oh my god.
Are we still talking about dreams?
Did you just say Dicknapper?
Yep. Yes, I did.
Please, yeah. Please upload yourself.
And
That was
Okay.
great. Whiskey
I'm gonna have a
Dick,
new nickname.
Drag Dicknapper.
Lee, please remember to add all this in the episode descriptions.
Yep.
So no, we're gonna take it one step further. Dicknapper Pussy Rake.
Oh my god.
This
Oh
reminds me
god.
of Randy Alhor from,
There we go.
It's that.
I haven't heard that one either. Randy Al. Oh Jesus.
Okay.
Sorry, this is happening on your podcast.
I'm quite okay with it. No problems.
Okay. Hopefully it gives some giggles and some chuckles.
What's next on your list?
Speaking of Dragnapur, the hounds that were essentially killed by Rake, devoured by Dragnapur, is there any context to where they went when Paran freed
Yes.
them
Yes.
without
There is-
spoiling anything?
Without spoiling anything, no.
Yeah, there's no
For
context
us.
yet. Yeah, no.
So
no.
this is a wait, Raffo.
Yeah.
You just need to
Raffo.
read the fuck
Raffo,
on.
but very, very carefully, because you can blink and miss it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
second part of that question. Does it have anything to do with releasing their souls from captivity, or did they enter another warren of some kind?
You don't want to know the answer. No.
Damn it. Okay, all right. Third question
I
that's
think Lee
related.
is going to disagree, but no, Lee.
No.
It's better that better. The whole thing is Raffo. Right.
Hands off, Justin.
Hands off the dragon parade.
What's supposed to say?
I can never say Dragnupur again.
Thanks, Derek. You ruined that one.
I'm glad I could contribute something to society.
Is his experience with the hounds inside of Dragna Parade, is this what gives Paran the blood of the hound?
I think so, right?
No. Just repeat the same question. Sorry, I was typing some shit here. Please tell me.
What were you typing?
I think you can see the chat. Is the chat not visible to you guys?
Dickney Purr.
Please, no.
Sorry. Yeah. What is the question?
Is this some kind of like dick cat? Like a cat shaped like a penis and a knee at the same time?
No, I was wondering that it's a dick which reaches up to his knee or something.
Oh, Dick and her.
We're very mature, everyone.
I think the four of us need to start a separate podcast just around naughty things.
Yeah.
Because that would be fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah. I'll never be able to show my face anywhere. But yeah.
That's okay. No one else has to see it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's just the voice, right? Like we've got some, some disguising here. But yeah, sorry. The question was, his Paran setting the hounds free or whatever it is that he's doing that we need to Raffo about. Is this what gives Paran the blood of the hound?
The blood of the hound happens because he tries to revive the hound when it's dead. He feels bad for it and he touches the blood, isn't it?
Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, after Rake kills him?
Yeah, the hound is like just dying and it just about dies and he touches the blood. So I don't know, somehow touching the blood gives him this power. So it doesn't happen again.
Which is why Cotillion has some, I guess, reverence about, or some doubts about potentially killing him at the end.
Yeah. So there is some, but do you remember the fight with the Azath when Paran fights the Azath or the Finnest or something? The Finnest, yeah, he fights the
wolf?
Finnest, and he doesn't he like start growling like a hound and
Yeah,
all?
I remember that bit.
Oh yeah.
That's all the hound blood powers.
I feel like I was so confused by that particular section that I didn't pick up on the growling.
Yeah, it is a very confusing section. Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe he was just growling and howling because he was mad and frustrated and just.
Yeah.
I didn't connect
But
that
it makes it a little bit obvious that he starts behaving like a hound. There is something like that.
Something we'll have to watch out for though.
Not really. These are all the disappointing things in gardens. The fun things are set up and then they just don't come back.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate.
It's like another piece in Wheel of Time that you haven't gotten to yet, Lee.
I don't know if I know what you're talking about, Justin.
Which book?
It happens at the end of the fifth one.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, I got you.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Nice.
neat.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah. Do you want? I guess I go ahead, Derek.
So I guess it's not so much of a question, but one of the things that I think about a lot is just this world within the sword of Dragnipur, and just the imagery that, when he kills somebody and then the sword, I envision these chains leaching out of the sword and wrapping up whoever he killed and dragging that soul back in. And just the world within the sword, is there any, I guess I don't even know if there's any explanation, but is there more of that as the series goes on?
Yep.
You do, yeah, you get to see more of it. Yeah.
Okay.
You get to see a lot more about it.
And I'm sure there's a purpose too, right?
Yes, you don't know the purpose yet.
Lee is too quick to answer. Just wait for the question, Lee.
No, it's all good. I think he knew where I was going with this.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not just some dude decided, you know what if I make a sword with a railway in it where I keep people chained rather than kill them? There is a purpose to it. It's not just pointless.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think about.
Yeah.
No, I was happy with no explanation. I was happy with
To be
just
fair,
this
it
dude
is a cool
wrapping
fucking sword. It is very cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't need more than that. It's like, okay, it traps the souls of its victims, and people are so scared of it that they'd rather just die normally. I think there's a scene in Gardens where Baruch says, okay, Rake asks Baruch about the heads of the Witches from Bale, the betrayed him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I told them the options. And like, okay, I'm going with you. I'm going to die from a normal sword rather than Dragnipur. People fear that sword, even if there's no explanation as to why it is the way it is.
And this world within the sword, I think it's called like a pocket warren. That's
something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. That just makes me easier to imagine. It's a pocket warren, like the other warrens, but it's pocketed within the sword.
Doesn't the sword does it have anything to do with Rake's mother, the Queen of Darkness, being able to or allowing light to exist, or whatever that was?
Without any spoilers, yeah, it has something to do with Mother Dark. True.
Okay. See, I'm not bad at this. I've only read a book and a couple of chapters.
Yeah, it's very good. But then Erickson also wrote a separate series focusing on that particular race, the Mother Dark and all that.
Oh, okay.
So that's the Karkana's prequel series.
But you recommend reading them after?
Definitely after.
You wouldn't really understand anything. I know of one guy that did,
I've read it and I still don't understand much
I know
about
of
it.
one guy that read the Arcanas first. Book 1 is mostly fine. Book 2 has so many references that if you don't know what it's talking about, you're gonna be lost hopelessly. So
It's a very different writing style.
there's that too. It's like reading New Spring first. It works sort of, I guess, but you're not gonna understand much.
Is New
Right,
Spring
yeah.
the second book?
It's the first. It's a
New Spring
prologue
is
book.
the prologue,
The prequel.
but you're not supposed to read it until after the 10th book.
Oh, okay.
I've
Like
not read it,
publication order.
so I have no idea.
I don't like Fire and Blood maybe because you're not supposed to read that after. I don't know. I don't know where Fire and Blood fits within A Song of Ice and Fire. But
I
that's you.
have it. I haven't read it yet, but I know it's before. It's. I think you're probably supposed to read it after. I would say probably after A Storm of Swords.
Mhm.
But
it's a very different type of style, isn't it? It's just like a historical accounting rather than anybody telling a story. It's just this guy just laying out facts. This happened, and then this happened, and then this guy died. And
you're getting somebody else's version of things. So I guess how much is it an unreliable narrator type thing?
yeah. I like Martin's unreliability. He does it quite well, I feel. I mean, from this one half Fire and Blood book which I read and half Game of Thrones I read, I really like those.
It is quite fun.
Yeah. What's the next one? So we've been
Justin,
saying Rafo to most of your questions. We've been saying Rafo, isn't it? We've just
Pretty
been
much.
saying.
That is a kind of a good question, though. Like
I mean, these are quite incisive because I had no.
they're very good
Yeah,
questions.
I didn't even stop to think about all this. I was just like, oh, Rig, oh my god, he has a sword.
It's a
And it
big
turns
goof,
into a
like,
dragon.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
what's the next book?
We're stretching you guys. We're making you work for these answers.
No, but then the
Which-
book is written with this type of an idea. He wants you to think about all these things. He wants you to put things together and question what is going on. That's the way he wrote it. So you guys are doing justice, Justin.
Thanks. We're trying.
I think you, Justin, you do a lot better on like these deeper things than I do.
I don't understand where it's coming from. I don't think like, well, maybe I do think like this, but I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from.
No, there was one scene where Ralik is about to kill Lady Simtal's lover
Mhm.
at the balcony, and then he hears a spinning coin, and then he kills
Compliment him.
the counselor. He spares her and kills the guy who's with her. I don't even know if you remember because I was very impressed with your episode talking about that scene. And there is a small cut to Baruch and Crone discussing something. And then they both hear that there is some magic has happened in the city at that moment. And then the scene cuts back to Ralik killing that guy and sparing Simtel. And then Simtel goes into a scandal and all those things happen. Right? And you guys put together that, that was the magic, that what Ralik heard, the spinning coin, is a magic which Baruch felt with his magic sensitivity. He felt that the coin spinning for Ralik and all that. You guys put it together. I don't even know. How do you guys not remember this?
No, I remember what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Councilman Lim that he
Yeah.
assassinated. Yeah.
I had no idea when I read it. Even with the second read, I was just like wondering, like, just the scene cuts to Baruch and then cuts back to him. And you guys put it together that, yeah, this is why that scene exists of Baruch figuring out, that Opon has intervened again in the city.
I guess I don't know. I vaguely remember that, and it just kind of seemed like it all fit together.
No, it is meant to fit together, but then it's nobody's paying that much attention, isn't it? Something like that.
I think so. Yeah. It's definitely. I always. Sorry, go ahead.
No, we're not speed reading this book. We're taking our time, one chapter a week. And so we're probably afforded those chances to catch details that maybe other people aren't going to catch. Because we read it for, I guess, basically, the first time we read it for pleasure, basically, entertainment, and then when we're going back through it, just like you said, we're combing through things, looking for those details, and you get another look at it, and it just gives you a different perspective on it.
Yeah, and and then on top of that, we talk about it, not just necessarily on the show, but like we're giddy schoolgirls and we're texting each other.
It's just about every day.
Yeah. Before we started recording, you were like, yeah, that the chapter 2 of Deadhouse Gates was good, and I'm like, damn it, I haven't read it yet.
No, but when you guys text each other about what you're reading, do you have difficulty bringing up the same points when you're discussing?
I don't think so.
No, I think we just kind of add what we were talking about, so it's kind of like a pre-production a little bit. The text messages that we share, it's just I don't know, kind of a brainstorming more or less, just in conversational form.
I think we need to streamline that because sometimes we discuss a lot of plot points by text, and then when we sit down to recording, it's like we just finished all this. We just, we came to some conclusion, and so we don't need to rehash the same argument again. But that just we were losing content basically by texting whatever we are reading. So it's nice to know that you guys are just treating it as pre-production. We don't do that.
I don't think we're a lot of times very super specific with each other. And like today, I just text Justin. I'm like, oh man, there's a little bit of heartbreak in this chapter, in chapter 2, and he's like, oh man, I can't, I can't wait to read it, but I'm also a little bit scared to read it. So he'll get to have his own reaction. I don't want to give away and ruin things for him, but telling him the emotions that I felt, I don't really think ruins things.
Yeah,
and I think you're probably going to have similar feelings to it when you read it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Not bring up specifics because it sort of gets boring, isn't it, to discuss the same plot one more time for the sake of the recording. Apparently, you guys have not faced that yet. So,
I don't think we have. I haven't felt it. I don't know if you have.
No, I don't. I feel like the way that we talk is very spoiler free, as you mentioned, and so even if it I put ourselves in a scenario where we talked about everything that we were going to talk about via text or on the phone, that we would say over our podcast. I think that, I guess, not speaking on your behalf, but I feel like from my perspective, it's like we want the viewers, we want the listeners to be able to decipher those things as well. So I think that we're still going to approach it with the same amount of enthusiasm as we would normally, because the way that I think about this podcast is like old school video games, right? Like back before everything that you wanted to know was uploaded onto the internet. You went to the store and you bought a strategy guide, right? And the way that I've always played video games is I would play through it once just to get the entertainment value out of it. And then as a completionist, I would go back through and get every little single thing that I could do done and completed. And in order to do that, I would go get a strategy guide. So I see this podcast as kind of like a strategy guide for those that may or are about on the brink of giving up on Malazan because they just aren't connecting things or they're not getting the dots to be able to relate to people that are still new to the series, don't have any overarching bigger picture things because they haven't read it themselves either, and being able to hopefully bring them back into the world of Malazan, because it's from one book and a prologue and a chapter, it's absolutely glorious.
Yeah, the thing is, which I keep telling everyone, is that Malazan, at least, it's not a solitary exercise. It's not a book you just read on your own and then not have anyone to discuss it with. It's really hard, isn't it? Because there is so much going on, and so much gets fleshed out, and it's an enjoyable experience when you do it as part of a group. You have at least one person to discuss it with. The experience is going to be much different. So somehow, this book, at least, it feels like that to me.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm so glad we decided to do this because we get to meet you guys. If we didn't, we wouldn't get to talk to you like this. And probably the hardest part is, I know, Justin, like I've got like the Twitter account, I'm kind of in control of that, but I'm seeing all these people like, oh, this book was so good and Memories of Ice was just, out of this world. And I'm like, damn it, I can't wait to get there. But, I just want to take the ride for what it is. And
Derek, I try my best not to give away any plot points in my Twitter because I know you guys are following me there. No, seriously, because I each time something comes up and then I try to be as vague as possible because I know that, it's really hard. I don't know. So to me, at least, I don't mind spoilers myself to some extent, but I don't want to spoil anything for anyone else.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe just block us from that post.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you do that? Can you just block from a single tweet? But I have
no idea.
I don't want to risk it. No, it's fine. Most people get to know. Like, there was one particular scene in Stonewheeler which I was discussing. And so this guy asked, what's the scene about? And I was as vague as possible, and he got it. So, it's not a big deal.
Maybe see this as an opportunity to practice non-spoiler verbiage so that you and Lee can talk about stuff without having
Very true.
to feel like you're repeating yourself when you're doing it.
Very true.
Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, thank you. No, seriously, that's a good point because that's what happens. We hash out an entire plot line together just by text. This happened and then this happened, and I think this is the way this happened, and then it feels boring to bring it up again. Yeah. So
I get
yeah,
that.
point taken. I think we should start doing that. So
Justin, I don't remember if we talked about it when we had Mora and Evan on, but I think you should talk about your theory on Krupp.
We did.
you did, yeah,
You
but
did?
yeah,
Okay.
Lee
Did
hasn't heard
Lee-
this theory.
we heard your
yeah.
episode, but
I did. I don't
Okay.
think there's a confirmation on if that actually matters, but it is among the most interesting theories on Krupp I've heard.
Fuck yeah.
Point.
No, but I asked some other theory about Krupp when I spoke to Erickson. I had a different theory about his origins and all that, and he just shot it down. He said Krupp is not going to be explained ever, so you just
Oh,
have to
really?
accept him as he is. Yeah.
So that would not be a question to ask Steven
No,
Erickson.
but no, you're asking about a specific use of his power, so I think you should still ask it.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I asked something else, like his origin, like where did he show up from? But he said he's not going to give away the origin because it's not important. But you guys are asking about the power, isn't it?
Yeah,
His,
I mean,
eating and passing out granting power. So
I
think we
know
should-
that happens to me when I get lethargic and pass out. I just have these really weird dreams.
Are you resurrecting tattoo sale souls anywhere?
Maybe her and her and those soft pillows. They're yeah, we're cuddling.
My man likes cushions for the pushing. What can I say?
Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Do you have more?
I have a theory as well, and you guys would not have heard it yet. Justin and I discussed it on our prologue episode for Deadhouse Gates, but so I've started listening to our podcast, and as of now, I'm up through like episode 10 of our show, listening to it. But right before we recorded the prologue episode, I was listening to one of our other episodes. I don't even remember which one it was, but it was when Paran gets stabbed by Sari, and he's at Hood's gate, and they're trying to decide what they're going to do with him, and they're bargaining for his soul. And then after reading the prologue, I had this thought that I think, and I don't know that it'll happen in this book, but I think somewhere in the series, I think Ganoz is going to have to take out Tavor to avenge Felisin. I think Felison's going to die, and I think it's going to be because of Tavor. And there was the line in the prologue that somebody else said about, I don't remember if it was Heberick or Bowden, but about clearing the family name. And so I think that's going to be Ganoz. I think it's going to be his, I don't want to say mission, but I guess that's going to be his like prerogative to clear his family name because his sister forsake the family and killed Felisin. Because I think Pran, the three siblings, their parents are dead. So it's just the three of them. Maybe they have extended family. I don't know. But you've got a big brother and you've got two younger sisters. And I think Tavor is the middle child, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I feel like she turned her back on the family. And, Justin and I talked about she's following orders. She's doing what she's told. And I think it's going to get Felisin killed. And that's, as a big brother, I've got a younger sister. I mean, you watch out for your little sister. You protect your little sister. And something happened. And he's going to blame Tavor. And he's going to have to kill her, I think.
Okay. What is the question?
Not the
Is
question.
that your
That's my theory. That's my theory.
We will not make any comments. We'll
I
just
have
move on.
but one comment
Oh,
about the quote you
Okay.
mentioned about clearing the family name. I think I don't remember who brings it up. The point is, Paran Ganos at the end of Gardens, along with his entire regiment, has been outlawed. Right, for all intents and purposes, as far as the Emperor is concerned, One Arm's host, the bridge burners, everyone, including Ganos, is an outlaw.
So
And
he's already at odds with his sister, and he may not even know
So,
it.
in Felison's view, I think, or I don't remember who said the quote. The point is, it's Tavor that is trying to clear the family name by proving the family's loyalty to the Empress, rather than. Well, I mean, I guess it can be a double entendre that okay, Gano's going to kill Tavor to clear the family name because Tavor killed Felison, or because she betrayed the family, which she kind of did. She kind of did hold them out, but that's all I'm allowed to say right now because I can already see more as So that's all I'm going to say. That is one way.
No, but that's an extremely interesting theory.
It is, yes.
I remember the quote you're talking about, Lee. I remember that, I don't remember who said it about Tavor clearing the family name, but to me it just felt like,
Absolutely. I mean,
it
I'm
made
not saying
me
you
call
can't
back
do
to
that.
that point where Paran is at Hood's gate with this soul being bargained for.
Mhm.
And even though somebody says Tavor is going to have to clear the family name, I don't think it's going to be her. I think she muddied the family name or will muddy the family name. And I think it will be Gano's that will have to clear it.
But I mean, that's all based on perspective, right? Like, if you take it, Gano's is going to feel the same way that Tvor does, but on the opposite sides of the spectrum. So it could very well be a double meaning
Absolutely.
as far as clearing the name goes.
I mean, I'm sure if you ask
like,
for, I'm sure if you ask for listen, she's not going to be very happy. Oh yeah, she's doing it for the family. You know. No, obviously. I have one question though for you guys before Mora goes on, please. What do you think of the scene in
Absolutely.
this book and the last book, more importantly?
Lucine?
Our very own Empress. Long may she reign.
Oh,
I obey, await, and
Long,
serve.
long may she what?
Long may she live forever. I obey, await, and serve.
On the Crystal Throne?
was that her?
I don't think she has that though. No, unfortunately.
That was the Sean.
Yeah, doesn't she have a throne of bones? She sit on a bunch of bones.
I'm not going to say anything about that, unfortunately.
No, what was your question, Lee? I'm sorry, I
What
didn't quite
does
catch it.
Justin and Derek think of the scene?
Okay, what's your impression about Lassie,
Yeah.
right?
I
I mean,
mean,
you've
I feel like
seen her once, twice.
twice.
I mean,
the
very
prologue,
obviously,
and then
it's not just like, okay, this is the character that's like, it's more her legacy and how she shifts events based on her actions rather than herself being involved directly.
I mean, she kind of seems like she's a chicken with her head cut off. To be completely honest, it doesn't seem like she knows what the fuck she's doing. And so it's just like, oh, well, I heard about this rumor in Darujistan, so let's go see if that's legit or not. And, he sends, Night Chill's boyfriend, what's his name?
Or,
Bellerden.
sorry,
Bellerden.
Bellerden. Yes. Yeah,
Bellerden, thank you. It's been a while since we've read about him keeping a smelly body next to him. Yeah, she just feels chaotic. She feels unorganized. She feels like she doesn't really have any idea on what to do outside of the extremes. Like, this is how we're going to get control. We're going to make them fear the shit out of us because we're going to unearth the biggest, darkest shit ever. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I feel like she's kind of a loose cannon that, what she said, she wants absolute control, but maybe doesn't know how to enact that in a efficient way.
And I mean, Emperor Kellenvad didn't set her up for success by any way, because he commanded via loyalty. And so that is Lacine's biggest hurdle at this point, is getting people to, I guess, bend to her will. And how else do you do that? From Lacine's perspective, like, as chaotic as she is and unorganized as she is, it's like, how else do you do that? How else do you command loyalty when no one is loyal to you?
What fascinates me is that you have these opinions from the prologue of Deadhouse in one book in. Now, since Mora is here, I can talk about this safely without spoiling anything. Please stop me if I say anything spoilery. So,
I mean, after you stop talking, I'm going to tell that was a spoiler, guys. Forget
Okay.
what you just heard.
yeah, okay. So
I can't do that.
you may not know this about me, right? But I have a reputation around here. I am the Latine apologist. Okay, I'm
Lasine apologist.
apologist. Yeah. The basically a while ago, about 8 months ago, I took it upon myself to write a series, a few short posts. I thought 1, 2, 3, 4 posts, tops, no more than that, about Lasine and her role as Empress and why she is not, in fact, the worst thing to happen to the Empire since Plague. Now, I finished that series about a month ago or so, and it was 10 parts. And one of the most pertinent things I've heard from a friend is if you need 10 parts worth of an essay to explain to people that a person isn't an asshole, maybe they're an asshole. So, yeah, in a sense, you're right. But I'm also extremely fascinated that you think these things already from Gardens, because my impression when I first read Gardens is she's a bitch. I don't like this character. I really do not like this character. I don't think she's good. She's antagonistic. She's opposing to my friends. She's an antagonist. She's a villain. She just outlawed my fucking company. The guys I've been following for the entire book. And now Deadhouse Gates opens up with a call of okay, we have a whole bunch of nobles and noble children, kids, and of all ages, and a whole bunch of things. Okay, we're just gonna send them all to slavery, all of them, and
Yeah,
pray that
I
it
call
works.
them the unwanteds.
And that is not at all the impression I had. I don't even think my impression of the scene ended until after I finished the series. For a while after that, it was basically still like, I don't like this character. I think she's terrible, and it took me a while to really, come into my own about what I think of this character. So I'm quite fascinated that you don't think she like a lot of people that have read Deadhouse or at the start of Deadhouse have this opinion that that seems just the worst thing to happen to the Empire ever. She's terrible. Kellen's way better. She shouldn't have murdered him or whatever. And a lot of
So
characters
all these,
in the book also think this. By the way, it's not just people. It's you mentioned she's chaotic, and I think a lot of this is the ideas of a lot of characters in the book as well. Not least the bridge burners who she killed all of us because I don't know. Taishrin decided we're gonna be in the tunnels, and then he started nuking our mage cadre, and okay, why? They don't have a good answer as to why, not yet. So to them, it must seem okay. She's just evil, and she hates us, and we're gonna kill her.
I feel like a lot of the things that you're saying are not my feelings towards Lacine, but my feelings towards Lorne, because that's the one you saw interacting. Lacine was kind of behind the scenes, and maybe she's directing things.
Yeah.
But Lorne, I just did not like.
Right.
I didn't like the character.
Okay, so Mora is smiling right now because
Lacine was there.
Lorne was very fascinating.
If Lorne, she kept saying, she's the arm of Lacine,
mm-hmm.
And if she's the one executing these orders and that sort of thing, she was the face of it and not Lacine. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't feel like I've seen enough of Lacine to really have a strong opinion one way or the other on her. Where Lorne was the one acting these out, and I'm like, I don't like you.
This actually leads to the question I have. Is for example, in book 2 of Wheel of Time, there's there's a lot of the Sonchan happens, like Sheriff and Turak, whatever the fuck his name was, and I wonder how much of that can be traced back to the Empress, which is all the way back on where the fuck Sonchan is. I don't even know. And I have heard things about the Sonchan, a lot of people don't like them. Okay. And one of my friends has read Wheel of Time before they read Malazan, and because of my reputation as this, the guy who defends empresses apparently, they told me very specifically that one day will be needed, and I have very high hopes about how horrible those scenes will be because you have chapter 1 of Gardens where Paran goes to meet Lacine, and it's okay, well, cool. I wonder if a similar thing will happen in Wheel of Time, and I will be needed because she's terrible. But you mentioned Lorne, and I think Mora will be more than happy to tell you about Lorne.
Oh, we have spoken extensively about Lorne. I told you guys in your episode too, isn't it? That I love Lorne, and it was very fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like I kind of am sitting in the middle. I totally can understand from Mora's perspective how this character could be. She was beautifully written. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm not. Or I'm not trying to say that she wasn't. But as far as from a reader's emotional standpoint, I can understand where Mora is coming from with the love of Lorne. But I can also understand Derek's, where he doesn't like or hates Lorne. I'm kind of in the middle. I definitely feel I liked her best when she was doubting herself. And it was just because oh yes, come to the light, you're almost there. You don't need to do all of this kind of stuff. And she just, at the end of the book, is just yep, nope, I'm going to stuff this down, and I'm just going to be this big bad bitch that I'm supposed to be. Adjunct Lorne died in the mouse quarter, and
no. The woman died, and the adjunct lives.
Yes. The woman Lorne died in the mouse quarter. The adjunct is now the big
those
bad.
were the bits which I liked. It's not the actions which she did, but it was very understandable that what she was going through, because she has been brainwashed, isn't it, from childhood to follow Lacine, and basically like a brainwashed child soldier or something. So she just has to follow orders, and she doesn't. And even then, she still has this humanity to question what she's doing. She's not that brainwashed, isn't it? She's not completely gone to the dark side. She's still able to question her actions, but ultimately, the training takes over, and
there is a Wheel of Time analogy I can make here, but I'm going to refrain. Please do.
What?
There is a Wheel of Time analogy I can make here, but please
Go
do carry
on. I don't mind.
I'm honestly still pissed at Inktar from The Great Hans the Dark Friend. I'm still angry at that. I will never get over it. I'm sorry.
Just wait.
I like the character a lot. God damn it, Jordan.
Someone died.
No, it's the same deal of oh, this guy was actually a friend of the dark from the beginning, and then, unlike Lauren, though, he had a change of heart, and a lot of his arc was like having. I'm angry about it. Okay, I'm still pissed about it. I don't want to talk about it.
It is an upsetting part in that book, but just wait.
I don't want to talk about it.
Just wait. You're in for a treat.
Oh, that's a Raffo Lee, so yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the Raffo for Lee. You got quite a ways for that Raffo.
Sure, I do. It's like,
When you guys ask me, will this thing come back and, will we learn more about Dragnipur and all? The thing is, you guys are not questioning me, when are you going to return to these things again? Because, the whole structure of these 10 books is sort of odd.
it's not very linear. Yeah, it's not very linear.
Yeah, so
I think... Sorry, go ahead.
In Deadhouse Gates, you're not really continuing the story of Gardens. You are in a completely new continent, and this Fiddler and Kalam is like just a small segue to reach that continent. But the story is not entirely about them. There are multiple new characters and new settings and new plot lines going on, right, in 7 cities. And it's only in Memories of Ice where you actually pick up what Paran is doing in Genabacchus. There was some mention about a Panions here and all that. So that comes back in Memories of Ice. And, so whatever the new guys you met and loved in Deadhouse Gates, you're going to have to put them on hold till you go to book 4, to House of Chains, right? So it's sort of like that. And then you have an entirely new continent with new races and unheard of titles in book 5. That's another attrition point where people bounce, book 5. So you the thing is, I'm just trying to tell you that when you ask me when will we learn more about Dragnipur, it's 6, 7, 8 books down the line. So
Jesus.
I know.
I mean, there are a few scenes in Memories of Ice which explain Dragnipur, so it's not like all
but
bad.
the actual when you think that yes, I have a hold on. Yeah,
I mean,
sorry.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. It takes time. It takes time for all these things to come together. But
So in 4 years we'll come back.
In 4,
and we'll talk about it.
I can't
It only
imagine.
takes us like 6-7 months a book.
Yeah, this read along which we are doing in the sub, which we are taking around 6 to now we have stepped up to 8 weeks for book 6 because 6 weeks we are not able to cover the entire book. So even then, I'm just thinking, we are taking like 2 years to finish the entire series, and you guys, I don't know, you're going to take more than double that, isn't it?
Just
And
a
it gets
little.
denser as you go on. That's the problem.
I think we're starting to see that now. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, this first chapter in Deadhouse Gates, the last section that I covered was 10 pages, and now that I've read the second chapter in Deadhouse Gates, Justin's first section is going to be like 15 pages. We're going to have our hands full for sure. So I don't know if we'll have to adapt some new strategies or what we'll do, but we'll see.
A simpler thing which you can do if you guys want is use the summaries from the wiki or the subreddit or something. The preformed summaries. The wiki summaries are quite good. Okay.
We don't want to copyright though. Like we don't want.
Yeah.
We don't want any like, oh well, they're just summarizing from the whatever. I can do that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But that's going to take a lot of your time, isn't it, to summarize? Because summaries.
I think that even though we've finished one book, I think we're too far into it to just stop. And
Yeah.
I think that it. I don't know. It also, I feel like it caters to the way that we present our podcast. Like as you said, chill, laid back, like, very NSFW, so to speak, with some things and adult language. And I think that just allowing us to create our own summaries, as time consuming as that may be, and as dense as we're being warned or forewarned about, is just going to allow us to keep being creative. Asshole puppet is another thing that kind of came up.
Yeah.
I accidentally typed whiskey dick once. And
Was it an accident? Seriously?
yeah, it was an accident. I typed in whiskey dick instead of whiskey jack. So that's like, I think where a lot of like our humorous stuff, not a lot, but some of it is derived from. And, we share a Google document that we type in and we're able to read together. So, yeah.
Yeah. We do that
I think,
too. Yeah, go on.
I think we both like to bring our own to it, versus, if we just copy and paste somebody else's summary, we don't get to put our own like flair into it.
True. That's very true. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
And Justin's certainly the creative one of the two of us, and
I
does a
disagree.
good job with it.
How so, Derek?
You just are.
You've come up with some pretty fucked up shit too, dude.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I don't know.
It's a good balance. I think that we work well together, and the banter between us is it doesn't sound forced,
Yeah.
So
I told you guys that long ago that it's the friendship that comes across the way you guys interact. What happened?
I just
Dropped his
knocked my
beer.
microphone over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nope, beer's empty.
empty, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just drinking soda now. There's no drink here.
I thought those were Smiley's.
Oh no, yeah, the service is the worst at Smiley's. True.
It's because I'm not in my barkeep outfit.
Yeah.
So,
Justin, I'd kick you out.
why? I'm the barkeep.
No problem. So please continue. Yeah.
Where were we?
Yeah, where were we actually? Hang on. God damn it.
Service at Smiley's sucks.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
we landed.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It was a joke.
I have a question on
Yes.
Moonspawn. Do we ever learn like the origins behind it, or is it just kind of one of those things that exists?
You do, yes.
You learn a little bit about it.
It's actually kind of funny because Moonspawn in and of itself is not explored as much as what it is. But
Don't be cryptic.
for
It's
all
fine.
intents and
You
purposes,
you
it's like-
learn more about Moons.
as far as Moonspawn goes, it's like Rick has it because he always had it. But you learn what it is, and yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I just didn't know. That's one of the things I think about most from that book is like, why is there just this giant floating rock with wizards and birds on it?
I'm
but
sure-
you get to learn a little bit more
I'm
about it.
sure that as far as gardens are concerned, this is like as far as they went. Like, what if we just had this guy ride a fucking massive floating mountain? And then they had to explain it in the world, so of course they have the explanation at hand. It's like that was the first idea. Like, I want a big floating fucking mountain from where I can shoot at all directions with sorcery and fire, and then I can fly along with it as a dragon. And like, oh, you know what? Fuck it, let's do that. How are we gonna make that work in the world? And then that's how the conversation. I imagine. I'm not sure. I haven't asked, but that's how I imagine the conversation would go. It's like,
Okay,
come on, what more do you want? Big floating mountain, dragons.
You're right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything more you want than that.
But yeah,
It's
there is
perfect.
an explanation. It's explored quite a bit. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Awesome. I don't think we have anything more for gardens per se. I do have a few questions about the opening of Deadhouse gates, though.
Yes.
Nice to know. Go on.
Is that okay?
Obviously, it's okay. Please ask these questions.
All right, sounds good. Malik Rel, one, sounds like a fucking douchebag. I'm just going to say that. But he makes an insinuation to
Can you
Duiker.
just repeat that, please? Malik
I'm
Rel.
going to mute myself, if that's okay.
Lee has strong feelings about Malik Rel, so go on. You said something.
Justin,
did
you're
I
ruffling
offend him?
feathers. You're ruffling
You are not going
feathers.
to offend anyone here. Go on.
This is
So,
why we
Malik
don't
Rel-
have friends, Justin.
I know, I keep screwing it up. With
No,
my dick
you're
jokes.
good. No, guys, you're good because Lee hates him a lot. So,
Oh,
you
okay.
all found a new way to be friends together by saying fuck Malik Rel and all.
It's like a cult. It's like a following in the sub where like
Anytime his name is brought up,
yeah,
everyone just
there's
responds
like
with,
5 responses like fuck Malgrad. That's great. It's amazing.
on the sub right now. And just type Malik Rel, and there's going to be like 5 comments saying fuck Malik Rel.
I will not suggest doing that because it's spoilers, but it's very satisfying to see. But
Okay,
please do
all
I
right.
continue.
mean,
about
you guys
Malik Rel.
hate him already. You've not even like met him, isn't it?
The
You
way
just
he
saw-
talks in Deadhouse Gates, the most fucking annoying thing too. Like, it's just his speech
It makes me
pattern
think
is
of
annoying.
like Yoda. That's how I feel like he talks, like Yoda. Like nobody talks like this.
But yeah, it has a different tone. He has a different tone. He has a different look, and he's portrayed quite. I don't.
Dragon Rick you have.
Please, my
Soft pillows. Squeezy. Yeah.
So, you guys, sorry, you guys were telling me about how much you hate Malik Rel. Was there a question there?
Yeah. Sorry. So Malik Rel makes an insinuation to Duiker about his caution, and that it stems from the culling of nobility in Unta. The only caution I caught in the chapter, though, was for the Wiccan horse riders about to riot at the docks of Hisar. So I guess I'm not quite understanding like why he's being cautious and why Rel is making an association with the culling in Unta.
Mora, are you gonna respond to this?
I'm just saying that culling is not limited just to Unta. It's part of the Malazan Empire. They're culling everyone everywhere. just
Oh,
to get public sentiment on their
One
side.
thing, the other thing I have to add is, if you remember from the prologue, Heboric mentions that he was tried for treason, and he says that Duiker spoke in his trial in his defense. So Duiker spoke in the defense of a treacherous historian who is now chained in the capital, and it's very likely that he too will be a target for the cults. So
I do not remember that in the
that
prologue.
is what they
I
talk
do
a lot
remember
about
that.
Heboric's historian past, like
I mean, I knew he was a historian, but I don't remember the Duiker testifying part.
hang on.
I guess it makes sense now that I think about it, why he doesn't
Yeah.
have hands anymore too, because they must have cut his hands off so he couldn't falsify history or write whatever they didn't want him to write.
It says like he wrote that revised history, Phillison said, committed treason. Heboric's wiry brow shows in mock alarm. God forbid. A philosophic divergence of opinions, nothing more. Duiker's own words at my trial, in my defense, Thunder bless him. But the Empress wasn't listening. After all, he called her a murderer and then had the gall to chase he bungled the job. So Duiker could very well be on the spotlight because he said that, yeah, Heboric isn't actually a traitor. He's a reputable historian, while he's also going against, I suppose, what could be described as official history, since they mentioned revised history. And this is brought up again in Deadhouse Gates a lot, so you'll get used to it.
So does that mean Duiker is keeping his mouth shut on what's actually happening? Like, is he chosen to be on the wrong side of history?
Duiker is the imperial historian, so whatever Duiker says is meant to be official imperial history.
Whatever he witnesses and records, basically. So,
Gotcha.
and it's not a coincidence that you have two historians in this book,
Yeah, that's true.
Heboric and Duiker, because that ties in with the theme. As you go on, you're going to see why history is important and why historians are needed. So there's just something to keep in mind that, what's this book which, there are just too many historians all of a sudden. So there is a reason for all that. More like thematic reasons.
I'm gonna have to go back and read that part in the prologue.
Yeah. Lee picks up these tiny things which is easy to gloss over, and
I am, after all, the apologist in the room, so anything that regards Lacine is I'm out for it.
And I'm sure, there'll be things if we ever get to a reread that I'll pick up. Like, my plan is to, while we are slowly moving through Deadhouse Gates, to just reread Gardens of the Moon at a normal pace, so to speak.
that's a really good idea. That's a good idea because you keep familiar with the world, and there are because by the time you finish Deadhouse Gates, like 6 months later, when you pick up Memories of Ice, it's going to be like, what the hell is a whiskey jack and all that.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good idea too.
Yeah, I figured I would start reading it once we're like halfway through Deadhouse Gates. So
I completely forgot that the name Banyan was dropped in Gardens. So when it comes up again in Memories of Ice, it was like a new thing to me. But then when I read it, I realized, yeah, Gardens has, there's a lot mentioned about the Banyan, isn't it? Like, this is where we're heading next, and this is a new threat and all that. Yeah, it's easy to miss those things. Do you have more questions from Deadhouse Gates?
yeah, Icarium's Lost Memories. Is there more to this?
Yes,
lots more. Yeah,
but Raffo, huh?
He doesn't remember things, and they've clearly been together for a while. So
right, and I know that in Gardens of the Moon, he gifted Jerujasan with this like calendar type device.
The timekeeping thing. Yeah.
And Rake and Icarium and Mappo were mentioned as having some type of conversation, and I know that there must have been some type of argument because Caladan Brood had interceded. So,
I think it was mentioned something like he met them around 1,000 years back. Rake met Icarium and Mappo, like it's been 1,000 years or something, isn't it? Something like that?
Yeah.
So that's the thing I remember there.
So it doesn't sound like they get along, which it's like, here you go, here's these new characters. They don't have any memories.
So tell me about Hisar Docks. What did you think of Hisar Docks, Duiker, and they meet the Wiccans?
You're right, yeah, and Coltane.
Yeah.
I think that it kind of goes back to what Lee was talking about earlier with the differences between, Lacine and Emperor Kellenved, as to, at one point in time, Coltane rose up in defiance to Emperor Kellenved, and then unsharingly, in his style, didn't share how he was successful in obtaining Coltane's loyalty. And with all of the things that happened in Gardens of the Moon, as far as like the Emperor, the losing of 2 demons, Adject Lorn, even the failed Jag-Hut Tyrant. She's an adjunct of Vor being so untested, so to speak. She had to do something in a city that has recently broken free of Malazan control to attempt to get that control back. So as much as Lucine doesn't like it, it's kind of her only move as far as the 7 cities
That
goes.
sounds like a motif that I've seen before.
Which one?
As much as Lassie doesn't like it, it's her only move.
Okay. No, because I was just trying to see your first impression about Coltane, the Wiccan leader.
He gives me like a Jason Momoa in Gardens of the Moon.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch you.
As Coltane seems kind of like a psycho to me.
I think he looks like Sakura Duiker, too, so it's not just you.
Does
I think
he?
he'll be
What do you think,
interesting.
Justin?
He reminds me of Jason Momoa in Game of Thrones.
This is the character I told you. Do
Okay.
you guys remember? You
Yeah.
mentioned that you wanted
Yeah.
Jason Momoa to play something else in Gardens. And I told you there's another character coming up in Deadhouse Gates who would be much better suited. That's him. That's Coltane.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I think you had him in mind for, I don't know. I really don't remember now. Some Teshran, maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah,
we
that was
we
your
did
call,
discuss that.
Justin. I don't remember either.
That wasn't me.
Yeah. Jason Momoa was you.
He's attractive.
He's,
What do you
yeah.
want me to do?
So, okay, because so I had a different opinion on Coltane. So that's fine. You guys think he's unhinged, probably?
This seems that way, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that Duiker and, Malik, Rel, I almost said Ralik again.
Well, yeah.
Ralik, Malik, Ralik Nam, Malik Rel. It's like when you have 2 similar sounding words, but you just switch the beginning of
Yeah.
each word to the other. So
Yeah.
Ralik Nam, Malik,
Malik
Rel.
Nam. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure I'll screw that up in an episode eventually. But they were talking about how inexperienced Coltane is going to be with the political side of the 7 cities and just the contempt and the backstabbery that is going to more than likely befall him.
Yeah. It's good to keep a watch out on Coltane. Keep your eyes on Coltane.
So, on a somewhat unrelated note, I think one common theme I found connecting the two is like, I've heard a lot, I don't know if that's true because I've not read that far. I've heard that the Wiccans are the most closely paralleled race to the Ale in Wheel of Time. So they're definitely something to look forward to. If that's true, I wouldn't know. But
Yeah, you read the Wiccans and they've read the Ale, and so
Yeah.
we don't know if the two match.
I don't think they have a problem with swords though, as much as the Ale do. But beyond that,
Are the Ale like the... Okay, I think... Yeah, no worries.
it's complicated. I've not read that far to know for sure.
What were you going to ask about the Aiel?
Oh, is that how it's pronounced?
Eel,
Okay, I feel like
Lee, that's-
I feel stupid now. Excellent. No, it's
Sorry.
they're very they're very resemblant in a way of the Wiccans in Malazan. They're the closest thing I've seen to
Okay.
the two of them. So at least that's what I've heard from people that have actually read both series. So in that way, they're more than a little bit crazy. If you recall, and like the Wiccans appear in the docks and they start like throwing a fuss, and then Coltane like shouts something and they all sheathe their swords and like their shield and it's stunned in the line. Like, okay, well that happened. So
Right. Yeah.
I guess I don't know if I feel like we've seen enough of the Wiccans to compare them.
not yet for sure.
Yet, but-
I've not seen enough of the Ale to know for sure either.
It's a nice crossroads, because both of you don't know what
Yeah.
the other guy is
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah.
So
You'll
I think...
more so in the next book you'll learn a lot about the Aiel.
Right.
Yeah. Which is my favorite book. I love The Shadow Rising.
Lee bought all 4 books,
I did.
because that's what he was told to...
I decided
read up to
to sun cost myself so until I read the books.
I mean, the first, second, and third book, like if you're unsatisfied after that 3, like that would be a good stopping point.
Mhm.
Because if you don't like it at that point in time, you're not gonna like anything after.
Right.
That's so weird, isn't it, to talk about series like that? Even in Malazan, people say, finish Deadhouse Gates before you make a decision, or finish Memories of Ice before deciding whether you want to continue or not. I don't know. It sounds odd to me all the time. Like, it should be book 1, isn't it? You decide whether to continue or not at the end of book 1.
Well, I think that with Robert Jordan, particularly the whole Tolkien-esque thing, it really wasn't until the second book where he really started to just do his own thing and didn't really have like a format that he had to follow to be published. He had already established himself, and so that's kind of where like I love the second one. I love the second and third and fourth books. Like they're great.
Even the fifth one too. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I read the sixth one, I had kind of a hard time with it.
Really?
Is that the slog? Is book 6
No,
and 7?
It's 8, 9, 10. I think is a slog.
It really, even the only one I would say is sloggish is really Crossroads of Twilight. The rest of them, like
Crossroads of Twilight is the only book I've ever been told that I will be fine with reading a summary, which is very interesting.
I
that
would
was the
not
most
recommend
challenging one.
All right.
I thought.
No, what exactly is challenging about the slog? I don't get it. Is it like boring or things repeat, or why is it called a slog?
It's just not very climactic as the beginning of the series is. It's more kind of like it's a lot of setup and it's a lot of establishing.
So even at the end of the book, you don't get any sort of resolution there, or
Small resolutions, like small things happen that progress characters forward, but it's not climactic
Like,
at all.
It's the thing is from book 1 and 2 and 3 currently, which I'm reading, a lot of the early setup goes towards setting up the final battle. It's literally called that, the final battle. With different characters and different like MacGuffins they have to pick up and then you go through all the rest of the books and it's like, oh, I need to set up side plots. And he focuses almost, as far as I've heard, he's not read that far, almost exclusively on the side plots, and then he never actually got to finish it because he died. So Sanderson had to finish the big main central plot, I guess. Which is why, and I imagine people back then, whenever they were reading one Wheel of Time book for 2 years, were really expecting that, can we get on with it and read Darman Cave Dawn or whatever it's called, rather than, oh, I guess this guy is chasing after this chick, and this chick is doing politics, and this guy is like whatever, I don't know. So in a
It all
way,
comes together.
nowadays,
though.
yeah, I mean nowadays it probably doesn't feel as bad, but when you're waiting for publication, see also Sunrise and Fire, it would feel pretty bad if the book just didn't really feel like it went anywhere.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the slog term because I feel like as comparatively to other books, yeah, was it slower? Sure. But I feel like without the quote unquote slog, it would have made the ending a lot less meaningful.
Well, in Malazan, sorry, you had more to tell?
No, I think we've capped off our list.
Really?
No, I'm just saying that the way you don't like the term slog in
Yeah.
Malazan, do you guys have a different term? What do you call these 10 books? The Book of the Fallen? You must have heard. Some people call it the main 10. No, you not heard?
Yeah, there we go.
No, I think it's just because we're like very.
Oh, you're trying. Yeah,
We're not searching anything. We're not looking for anything. We're just reading it, because like I feel like any small rabbit hole could just reveal something big. So I'm just staying away from it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But it's called. I mean, I also call it main 10 because that's like the series which got us into Malazan. But people like Lee don't like the term. They hate it. So they don't like to call it the main 10. Yeah, it's not the main because there are so many other things going on, and they have some justification for that. I was just reminded of that because, yeah.
Can you shed some light on the preferred reading order for not the main 10 but the Malazan series in whole?
The authors have this. They recommend publication order for everything because that's the way they wrote it. So I'm not sure when was Night of Knives published after Bowhunters?
After Midnight Tides.
Okay, so the thing is, the second author started writing books from Midnight Tides from book 5. So you are supposed to intermingle both the authors.
I did, and it's great. It works. It really does.
I didn't do that. I read the main 10, and then I'm reading the novels right now, Esselmon's novels, which are like, they focus on a different plot line completely. They just focus on the Empire, whereas Erikson focuses on the Book of the Fallen. So
the thing is,
it doesn't make sense, just the words.
It's 16 books, and the narrative, especially if you intermingle them, goes fucking haywire. Like, even in the Book of the Fallen, there's a lot of scenery. You've seen this already. Like, Gardens of the Moon takes place in one continent, Deadhouse takes place in another. And then it changes again. So there's a lot of scenery change. The novels also have a lot of scenery change because, well, the second book in the novel takes place in like 5, 6 different continents. I think we counted. I don't remember.
That's a massive book. The second one in the novels. Yeah,
a commitment.
It's really huge.
I took it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it's great. If you like the world, it's really, really good. But also, the differences are palpable, both in the narrative, like because the stories being told are different, the themes are different, the way the authors write are different, the characters are different. Lots of things change. They do intermingle quite a lot. It's actually pretty funny. You can see both authors like talking to one another between books. But for the most part, they're two different stories telling their own tales with their own narratives and their own thematic exploration. And they're not really complementary, at least not in the later stages. After like book 7 or book 8, it's like stops being complementary.
In the sense because I read only the 10 books, I didn't have the novels
If
at
you
that
only
time.
read the 10 books, you get a perfectly fine, serviceable, great narrative that has captivated a lot of people. If you
The
read,
thing is, there are some things which come up like in book 9 and book 10, and I was like, these are just some random things showing up out of nowhere. And because I'm reading the novels now, I have a lot more context to what's going on there. So, so do you guys have any predictions for where Deadhouse Gates is going? What's going to happen? All the things we've set up so far. You guys told me about Kalam and Lassine. What's going to happen there?
I feel like I don't even know. I mean, I feel like there's so many endless possibilities, but I think that there may be some type of an attempt on Lassine, and she gets wind of it in some way, shape, or form, and reacts and counterattacks, which then has Kalam and Fiddler and Apsalar on the run or doing whatever they're doing, and maybe eventually run into Mappo and Ikarum and somehow join forces in some way. Circle Breaker makes an appearance and starts fucking shit up. Krupp joins via lethargic food eating dreams and start fucking shit up too. I honestly don't know. I feel like
No,
I
that's
might need to
fine. You
read
just
a little
tell me
bit.
like what you want to happen rather than what you think is going to happen. This is good. I think I should have asked the question that way. Like,
I feel like I would like to see some, I guess, some adventure. I don't know if I'm really very interested in Apsalar going back home. I don't know if that really actually happens, or maybe she does and realizes that her father left or is dead, or I mean, I'd like to see more of like her personality, being that she's not possessed anymore. I think it's interesting that her and Crocus are doing the horizontal mambo already, but again, it's been a year, so um, I don't know. I guess I just thought that was cute, and
weren't they like
Fiddler.
a couple even at the end of Gardens? Wasn't it like obvious there?
I think that they were just like pillow friends at this
Second
point
base.
in time. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I thought that was cute, and I think it was funny that Fiddler even mentioned how lucky Crocus was, even though the coin is now at the bottom of the sea. So, yeah. But Mappo and Icarium, I feel like this convergence of the Ivers and Soul Taken, he definitely seems like he's seeking some answers, which I'm assuming has something to do with his lost memories. I'm assuming, maybe going to take on, a god or ascendant to get those memories back, or servitude potentially. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have anything, Derek? What
I
do you
like a
want
lot
to
of
see
what
in the rest of the book?
Justin was saying. What do I want to see? I don't even know what I want to see. What I think we're going to see is a lot of action in this book. I'm gonna stand by my thoughts on the fate of Felison. I think she's going to be toast. No, not that I want that, but I feel like that would make the story interesting, especially as things go on. Fiddler and Kalam, I'm not sure where I stand on that. I think they're gonna. I know I said this in the other book, but I think things will probably get worse before they get better.
Yeah, fair. No, because it's really too early, so I'm just asking what you want to see.
Where do you think it's going to go, Mora?
I don't even think that's a fair question.
No, they're just going to meet back at Smiley's at the end of book 2, and the rest 8 books is going to be just banter.
I think
Just
Krupp is
sharing
going to
war
wake up
stories.
in Smiley's, and this was just going to
Yes.
be like some second level Inception. It was a dream within a dream, and
everybody's fine.
Yeah. They were dead the whole
Yeah.
time.
If Crop gets
This is like how lost and then
lethargic dreams from eating a lot, what would happen if Crop gets wasted? Like, what dreams would he
crab
have?
gets wasted.
What dreams would he have if he gets wasted? He gets like drunk at the table by someone. Like, okay,
Hmm.
he's on the floor of Smiley. He's dreaming. What does he dream about? It's a great question. I don't actually know the answer.
Dick per rake.
That's true. That's
Oh,
a very
yeah.
good answer. That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would dream about eating more food.
Yeah. No. I mean, knowing Crop, yeah, that's really it.
No, but this is nice. Deadhouse Gates is the number one favorite for a lot of people. Not me, but it's a solid book.
Where would each of you rate Deadhouse Gates in the series?
Boy,
I'm not sure at all.
very difficult. So,
I don't really rate books because they all seem like one single story to me, because even though
Sure.
they're also diverse, it's just Told the Hounds, because I just like the tone of the story, the way it's written, and it has a very specific voice. I really like that. So Told the Hounds is my favorite. Memories of Ice made me cry like for 2 days solid. So that's become a big favorite now. And Deadhouse Gates also made me cry a lot, but you'll know it's not a fun book. No, so I don't rate it very high. People like it because it's that depressing, but to me it's too depressing.
Memories of Vice is the kind of book that it ends, and then you go pour out a drink to have like silently cry and tear up and like sob a bit. Deadhouse Gates is the kind of book that sent me to the shower, bawling my eyes out for 15 minutes. I really like the book on a reread. On a first read, I was a bit lost. Like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Okay, this is pretty cool. But on a reread, it hits so much fucking harder. It floored me for a full day when I finished it, and I also had to do the the summaries for the read along for that week.
I was busy at that time, so Lee stepped in to
And
do
I
some of the
got
summaries.
fucking floored, man. It was something. It was an experience.
He got the worst of the summaries, so that made him cry. Yeah.
Things
I
to
think
look
that just
forward
makes
to.
me all that much more excited to read it and just to see how I'm going to react to these things. How you're telling me you guys reacted to it.
It was definitely the book where
Yeah.
like I'm gonna finish the series. The Guardians were like, oh, this is good, this is nice. That has got me like I'm gonna finish this series. Memories was the book that got me I'm going to love this series. So that's my progression through Malazan.
Those are exciting things to hear for sure.
No, I mean, I hope the same is true. I hope the same is true of PSR for Wheel of Time. I honestly hope so.
You can't call guests and then diss their favorite books. Leela. That's not done.
Doing it on purpose. I'm sorry.
There, I
It's all
mean,
good.
the Wheel of Time. Yeah, it's I never had any moments, like where it made me cry, but there's definitely some moments where you're like your jaw will definitely drop and you're gonna be like, no, wait,
Yeah,
and
those
then
oh fuck moments. Yeah.
yeah, without saying too
I mean,
much more. That's kind of how it was.
Mhm.
Right.
There's a couple of parts where I bawled my eyes out. The Wheel of Time.
I guess maybe I'm just colder than everybody.
Perhaps.
Yeah, well, apparently, according to Mora, I'm the cold one. So,
Me? What did I do?
don't you remember in your episode where or in the episode we had you on, and I was just like, well, it was kind of their decisions. So, and you were like, you were a very cold person, just.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, you had no sympathy for Lone, isn't it? I think that's the one. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He's like, she may be a child, but still it's her decision to release the tyrant, and she may be brainwashed, but it's still her fault.
That's right. She should
but,
listen to her doubts.
No, yeah, but Malazan, at least there are plenty of things to make people cry. Plenty of people who tell each other that this made me cry and this made me cry.
Mora is one of them. I didn't cry that much in the first read. On a second read, I told you, I spent 15 minutes in the shower crying. On a first read, not that much.
Deadhouse Gates, I don't know. This time I don't remember much, but Memories of Ice, because I was at work, I was like reading at lunch break or something, and oh my god, it was tough. It took me like 2 days to be all it. And Told the Hounds, when I reread it recently, I like skim read it the whole thing in like 4 or 5 days. And I think I was depressed for like a whole week. I was not okay. It really just, oh god, it was a bad time for me. I shouldn't have read
We
Told the Hounds.
we did a couple episodes on Told the Hounds, and it's very poignant. We sound sad in the episodes. It's like,
Do we?
well,
Okay.
compared to like this, where we're jesting and bantering about like Dicknapur and Dickener and
Yeah,
stuff.
here we're slightly drunk too, so
There's that too, but yeah, you can hear it. Like the book is rough in that regard, but
yeah.
it's a very good book, and so is Deadhouse Gates. So, all the best.
Slightly drunk, huh? Tell me more.
Sorry, what?
Did you say slightly drunk?
I am. I finished one drink, and that's about all I can handle most of the time.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were talking during that episode, that
Oh
depressing
no,
episode.
this is the first time I've never seen Lee drunk before. So
We've learned from our mistakes to not do depressing
Oh.
episodes sober. So next time we touch on a depressing episode, we're just gonna have like a couple drinks beforehand.
what if you start crying on air?
Oh, that's even better, no?
I can guarantee anything, What do you say?
Alright.
But then, Justin, I'm the cold one. In the recent episode in Told the Hounds, Lee was full of compassion
Dude,
for this
I mean,
one character,
okay,
and I just couldn't
alright,
stand it.
Okay, we're
I'll just tell them the story because we have a shared Google document too, like you guys. We make notes, and he had this sad quote about, "Oh my God, her
Yeah,
dreams
like-
are shattered," and blah blah. And my reaction was just, "Yeah, cry me a river." Who cares?
I poured my heart and soul into it, and
Mora laid it on thick.
I poured my heart and soul into it, and she just tore it apart.
Maybe instead of cold, it's just a difference of opinion.
It definitely
Yeah, I mean-
was. Yeah.
But then mine is the correct opinion, and Lee is just
Obviously.
feeling it. No, but it's nice to have differing opinions, isn't it? Like when you guys don't agree or you have a different interpretation. Sometimes you have like 180 opposite interpretations, isn't it, about the same thing? I think
Once in a
that's
while.
the fun in the writing. Once in a while, yeah.
I feel like more often than not we agree on things, which I guess I don't have any like ill-fated feelings about that, but yeah, there are definitely some things that we didn't agree on, like Riga. That was a huge thing we didn't really agree on.
Yeah.
Can't remember what some of the other ones were.
I don't really remember.
So easy to miss the whole Riga thing.
I actually don't know what Riga thing you've been talking about. I've
Oh,
listened to it
it's,
on your last episode, and I'm like, I'm too afraid to ask at this point. All right, man. Okay. Please do go on.
So, do you want me to explain it, or do you want to?
Me? It was just that Riga has already possessed Sorry,
Oh,
and she was still there. She was not out of the picture yet
Yeah, yeah.
because the whole thing happens in the garden, isn't it? Mallet actually senses Riga's presence and helps her and all that. I didn't pay attention during the first read. I just sort of glanced over the whole thing.
yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I would not have noticed
didn't.
either. So, yeah. I feel for you.
So, is there anything more to ask, Lee?
I don't have any questions. I don't think. Chapter 2 is one of my favorites in the House Gates, but we can't talk about it. No shade, but
We can just send one person out of this chat. And
we can't do that. Yes, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
I really quite
I
like.
take my different thing of opinion away. Cold.
No. Justin is my, I've known Justin even before Lee, so I'm not going to kick him out. Sorry.
Yeah, kick Lee out.
Yeah. I mean, we already discussed that. Like, you're gonna be the host now. I'm just the co-host, right? So,
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I should take my leave now. Very well.
I didn't think that would. Yeah, no, I'm not going to commandeer your podcast. You guys are way further than I am. Even Derek, he's further than I am.
What's the
No,
better
because
No.
the chapter 2 has some fun stuff. I'm just going through the thing. It has a lot of fun stuff, Derek. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why you like the chapter. Yeah, that has a lot of fun stuff. Did someone yawn? I think it's
I
time
did.
to wind up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, do we have any closing statements? No.
Thank you for having us here. It was great to talk to you again, Mora, and great to meet you, Lee. It was a lot of fun, and I
It
appreciated
was for sure.
the time here with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you again for
Absolutely.
having us on our first guest appearance.
Oh, yeah. How was the
Fantastic.
experience? Was the service at Smiley's 5-star out of a possible 10?
My cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you can hear in the recording how much I've laughed in this episode, so I think that's enough telling.
I generally edit out the laughter.
Yeah,
so
it was
let's
absolutely
see.
hilarious. It was delight.
Yeah.
you edit out the laughing.
Some of them,
Some of
because,
it, some
we
of it.
just, I mean, like this.
We
when-
crack
if
wise
we
a
laugh,
lot. Yeah, it's
No, in the sense, if it goes on beyond the talk, like it's just laughter and nothing else for a while, I cut them off.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean,
gotcha.
it's like 10 seconds or 20 seconds of laughter is a bit distracting, I feel.
Yeah,
Dustin
yeah,
and
no,
I
you're
should have
right.
a technical exchange, isn't it? Because you are the editor there, I'm the editor
Yep.
here.
Yeah, maybe there can be some I don't know, sharing of tips.
We should do that because we are quite new to this whole thing, so we'll learn a lot.
Right. Yeah, and I have no idea what I'm learning is right or not. So
Yeah. I mean, Lee tells me it sounds good, so I just upload the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it
Right,
really does.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for coming. And I hope you are return customers to Smiley's. I hope you guys come back someday.
I would definitely love to.
Maybe.
I'm sure we will. Yeah, I'd love to be back.
Yes. So thank you, Lee. Thanks for
Thank you,
your
Mora.
time.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks for not hating on Wheel of Time
I-
as much as I thought I would.
It's not. It's not like I don't like the books. It's not like my favorite, but I
Yeah.
don't hate it.
Right. So okay. So good night. See you all.
Yeah. Sleep well. Have a good rest of your day, and see you next time, wherever next time might be.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Good night. Bye.